Okay, I see Eric already joined. He's such a good man. So it's August 13th, Saturday, August 13th, 2022. So just waiting on Eric. I think he joined. I don't know. I don't see a pop-up yet for him. There you go. Okay. So I saw him on Google on my Gmail that he'd come in already. So we'll start early. It's always good to see Eric. Hello.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Yeah, you want to get it going early. I saw you actually on my Gmail is connected with my Zoom, right? So I saw I
Yeah.
was checking my email and I saw you already joined. So I said, that's all right. We'll start early. That's cool. So how you doing?
So I'm feeling good these days,
Uh,
and our teacher just noticed us that 3 days later we'll return to school, and I feel excited.
Yes, of course, man. That's good. Yeah, that's a good break. I don't know. I think America does where every country does it different, but the US has, I think it's like a longer summer. But I like China, I like Asia style because I think even Vietnam does it the same, and I think Cambodia does it. It's like a shorter summer, right? It's more equal holiday length. So you get like winter, you have a longer winter, so as I remember, we had a shorter winter. We only had 2 weeks in the US and America, but then we have like 3 months during the summer, which was a very long time, right? It's almost two.
Yes.
So I like the way that Asia does it because it's more like 1 month and then 2, 3 months, then 1 month and then 2, 3 months. So excellent. All right, man. Yeah, you're excited. I don't know. When I was your age, I don't know if I was that excited about going back to school, right?
Yeah.
Said I was a late bloomer. I like educating now and I like learning now. When I went to college and then graduate school, but when I was your age, I wasn't a big fan of of school. That's for sure. But that's all right. That's good. All right, Eric. So you finished your paper.
Yes.
All right. So let's have a look at that. Okay. Actually, let's just do some quick. We'll just do some quick reading again. Trying to get you in the habit if you do take an English literature class or are you further with your English classes. These are generally how I was educated with them, right? So hold on, let me just drop this down. Okay, and sorry, I got a slight cold. I think I don't know why here today. All right, so single page. All right, where are you? What chapter? Did you finish? Did do some
Uh,
reading or?
I finished the third chapter and have read half a page of the fourth one.
Great, excellent. All right, so let's just keep going here. It doesn't matter. I just don't want to. It's boring for you to read the same stuff. So there we go. All right, is can we read from chapter 4? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, yeah, just go ahead and read, starting in our tradition,
Okay.
and try to read right. Try to pick up the pace. It will help you, with your English pronunciation and your
Yeah.
speaking. Yeah, so try to read a little bit faster.
The village. In our tradition, on the seventh day of a child's life, we have a celebration called Woma, which means sevens for family, friends, and neighbors to come and admire the newborn. My parents had not held one for me because they couldn't afford the goat and rice needed to feed the guests, and my grandfather would not help them out because I was not a boy. When my brothers came along and Baba wanted to pay, my father refused as he hadn't done this for me, but Baba was the only grandfather I had as my mother's father had died before I was born and we become close. My parents say I have qualities of both grandfathers, humorous and wise like my mother's father, and vocal like my father's father. Baba had grown soft and white bearded in his old age, and I loved going to visit him in the village.
That was excellent, Eric. Very good, right? Just yeah, try to keep that pace. Maybe even a little bit faster as we go, but that was very good. Excellent. Okay, I'll read this one. That one's a little bit short, so I'll go ahead and read this paragraph here. All right, we always went to the village for the Eid holidays. You pronounce that Eid, right? Eid, it's a Muslim holiday. We would dress in our finest clothes and pile into the flying coach, a minibus with brightly painted panels and jangling chains, and drive north to Barkana, our family village in Shangla. Eid happens twice a year. Eid ul-Fitr, I believe that's how you pronounce it, or small Eid, marks the end of the Ramadan fasting month, and Eid ul-Azha, or big Eid, commemorates the Prophet Muhammad's, or Abraham's, readiness to sacrifice his son Ishmael to God. The dates of the feasts are announced by a special panel of clerics who watch for the appearance of the crescent moon. As soon as we heard the broadcast on the radio, we set off. Okay, so there's more interesting words in this paragraph than this one. So we always went to the village for the Eid holidays. We would dress in our finest clothes and pile. So what does it mean to pile into?
So pile means is a word like block and to gather together.
Yeah, to pile in, to jump into, right? What would be some additional synonyms, similar words to pile into something?
Uh, Synonym, I think, to line in something.
Yeah, to jump in, to everyone gets in together, right? To climb on top of one another. That's another phrase used. Another synonym may be to join, right? Everyone joins in together, right? To pile
Yes.
into the yeah, it's good. Into the flying coach, a minibus with brightly painted panels and jangling chains. So how can you phrase this, or what is meant by those jangling chains? Can you describe that?
So I think it means the minibus is, I think, it has been used for many years and very old. So jangling is a kind of sound. So the chains of the bus, when the bus runs, it has sounds coming out. So this, I think, infer that the bus is really old.
Yes, excellent. Very good, right? What does it mean to jangle? That's a verb, to jangle. Like
Uh,
to jangle.
I
Can you,
think it's
yeah, go ahead.
to hit something or not hit something to make it have sounds.
Yes, excellent. What can you jangle your keys?
Um,
Elsa, your keys, can you jangle them? Yes, right. You can
yeah, I
jangle
think yes.
yeah, you can jangle your keys. You can jangle. Um, yeah, it's generally has to do with a metal, right? Because
Yeah,
it's a sound. So you can jangle your keys. You can jangle cymbals, right? Something of a metal sound. Okay, it happens
yes.
twice a year. There are many references to very famous Muslim holidays, right? Um,
Yeah,
yeah, if you ever take I always find it interesting, right, to take a religious class if you when you get to the university, right? Because there's so many good different religions in the world, but they generally have the same backbone or meanings to them all, right?
yeah.
Dates of the feasts. What does it mean to the in this instance right here? Dates of the feasts. So what is a feast in this reference or inference?
Uh, Feast is the opposite of the god that Islam's pray to. And the dates of the feast, I think, is the day that they pray to the gods and wish that the feasts never come out into uh their places.
Feasts, or are you thinking beasts?
Yeah, I'm thinking beast, that's wrong.
Thinking beast. No, that's all right. That's okay. All right. So a beast, right, is like a monster, right? Something
Yeah,
scary, or it can be considered a monster. So then what is a feast? To feast.
yeah. So feast is like a party or a
Good.
staff to welcome somebody.
Yeah, you can even, you can feast on food, right? Like a yao
Yes.
chufan, or to you big bite of food. You can feast on food, but in this inference, right, it means a dinner, right? Wanfan, it just means a
Yeah.
dinner feast, to have a celebration, right? To eat good food and to have a celebration with food. Okay, are announced by a special panel of clerics. Do you know what a cleric is in religion?
Yeah, I've heard of it. This is a kind of people who often announce things at mosques or churches. They also have it.
Yes, right. A cleric, it's someone that you can almost, again, if you're ever really stumped on a test, or if it's an English word that you really don't know, you can try to just break them down into syllables. So, for example, like clear, right? So it's clear, it was someone of the religious, you got that, it's someone of a religious connotation or someone within religion, but clear, right? So they generally
Mhm.
think clearly, and they're prophesizing, or they're telling the truth, right? So these are religious people who preach about the religion, right? So they see clearly. So that's another way to remember it, right? Yeah, why don't we just do one more, Eric? Go ahead and, yeah, try to read at the same pace, a little bit fast. Try reading this one, bro.
Okay. Uh, the night before, we hardly slept because we were so excited. The journey usually took out 5 hours as long as the road had not been washed away by rains or landslides, and the flying coach left early in the morning. We struggled to Mingara bus station, our bags laden with gifts for our family, embroidered shells and boxes of rose and pistachio sweets as well as medicine they couldn't get in the village. Some people took sacks of sugar and flour, and most of the baggage was tied to the top of the bus in a towering pile. Then we crammed in, fighting over the window seats, even though the panes uh, were so encrusted with dirt, it was hard to see out of them. The sides of SWAT buses are painted with scenes of bright pink and yellow flowers, neon orange tigers, and snowy mountains. My brothers liked it if we got one with F-16 fighter jets or nuclear missiles. So my father said if our politicians hadn't spent so much money on building an atomic bomb, we might have had enough for schools.
Excellent, very good. I'm glad we read this one. There's some juicy words in this one. Okay, so the journey took about 5 hours, blah, 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 washed away. Okay, the road had not been washed away by rains or landslides. So what does that mean? It's almost like a metaphor almost. But what does that mean that she says hours long as the road had not been washed away by rains or landslides? What is she trying to say here about the road?
So I think when they get up and went on the journey their buses just went on the road and excitedly the rain and landslide haven't got onto the road, so uh, they didn't have any trouble on their
Yes.
journey.
Perfect. Excellent. Right. You do a very good job of giving an explanation, but not repeating the words, right? Sometimes you could just be lazy and repeat it. That is an excellent observation, right? So as long as there wasn't rains or a landslide to make the road more difficult to travel, therefore it only took 5 hours. Excellent. Very good. Okay. To struggle, right, is a verb. I struggle, we struggle, you struggle. So what is it? What's another synonym, right? Or yeah, give me a synonym, something, a word that is similar to struggle or to struggling.
Um, well, I think
Right? You could it can be a fighting reference, right? So again, when you do
yeah.
this, go ahead, please, when you're reading by yourself, make sure you look words you don't know up in the dictionary. But to struggle, right, can mean a physical altercation, right? You're fighting somebody, you're struggling with somebody, right? If you're wrestling with one of your cousins, maybe, joking around, you're
Yeah.
struggling with them. It can also mean, maybe you want to start taking French lessons, Fagwan, right? And it's you're struggling to learn French, right? It's a difficult new topic, right? You can struggle that way as well. It can be physical, it can be mental.
Yes.
Okay, yes, to struggle. All right, to Mingora bus station. So that's a place. Our bags are laden with gifts. So what is that? To be laden.
To be laden with means to be filled with, be
Excellent.
full of.
Yes, excellent, perfect, right? To have many, right? To be laden with many gifts in their bags, perfect. And then also embroidered, right? Also is an adjective to be when something is embroidered. What does that mean? Can you describe that?
Uh, I think embroider is just to decorate something.
Excellent, very good. And what do you think, where would, from your knowledge of the etymology, your etymological knowledge of where this word originated from, what country do you think embroidered? What does it sound like? I think,
So I'm not really sure, but I think the most English words that come from other countries is from French.
yeah, yes, excellent. I would say it's French. There's some that come from a Greek origination, right? That come from Europe, right? And there's some with some Italians, there's some Italian derivations. There's also some Spanish as well, right? But I would think you're very good, Eric. I would think embroidered, right? Is French, right? Embroidered. Excellent. Okay, of rose and pistachio sweets. What are pistachios? What are they? That's a noun, right?
Uh, I'm not really sure about that. I guess it's a kind of fruit or flowers.
It's a nut, right? I love eating them. Hold on a second. I know then I'll have to go back, but I love them. They're very tasty. I know I've seen them in China. I think they're more expensive in China. So they're the ones with the little green in between, right? Very delicious. For some
Oh,
reason, yeah.
yeah.
Have you ever had these? Have you ever eaten some?
Yes, so
Yeah.
there are shells in the two sides of them, and in the middle there is a green nut. It's
Yes.
called very funny name, Happy Nut in China.
Happy Nut, yeah, Happy Nut. The translation, Happy Nut in China. Interesting. So that's obviously Italian, right? So the pistachio nut, they grow those in Italy. So that's hence we've kept that name, right, from
Yes.
for the Italian name. But yeah, very delicious. Yeah, I think in Asia because they just don't have the demography, right? They don't, or the topography, I should say, to grow them, right? That well. So to the export, it's a little bit more pricey or expensive, but yeah, I love them very much. The hard shell, though, I think I chipped a tooth one time trying to eat it because it was so hard. All right, hold on a second. Let me move this down. All right, make it bigger. All right, pistachio sweets as well as medicine they could not get in the village. Some people took sacks of sugar and flour, and most of the baggage was tied to the top of the bus in a towering pile. I think this is the second time she seems to like using the adjective towering, right? So what does that
Yeah.
mean when she's saying a towering pile of bags?
A very high
Yeah.
pile of nuts.
Excellent, right? Exactly, right. To have a tower, you know what a tower is, right? So it's a very tall pile. Excellent. And then to be crammed, crammed is also a verb to cram something. So give me
Yeah.
actually, yeah, what does cram mean? Do you know what cram mean? Or give me a synonym for cram, Eric.
Mm, squeeze.
To squeeze, yeah, to squeeze in. Excellent. And then what would be an antonym? What would be an opposite word of cram?
And the opposite one. Uh,
Yeah, that's
I
more
would say
difficult, right? You gotta think, yeah. So if you're gonna squeeze something in, if you're gonna cram it in, what's the opposite? I would say
release.
maybe release, right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, so if you're gonna cram something in, I would say maybe to release it, right?
Yeah.
Or yeah, that would be my opposite word for cram. All right, fighting over the window seats, even though the pains. What is a pain? What is she saying here? What does this mean?
So the pain. I think it's the windows or something like it with uh so I think it's just the windows. The windows have so much dirt.
Yes, excellent. And I could see how your brain was working, right? It was wonderful that you read the rest of the sentence, right? And then you can infer or you can glean what that means, right? So a window pane is just the glass, right? The glass of the window.
Yes.
That's another name for the glass. And how about encrusted? It's almost similar. You see how the E, right, embroidered and to be encrusted. So
Yeah.
encrusted with dirt. What does that mean?
Covered with a
Yeah.
layer of dirt.
Excellent, fabulous, Eric. Very good. Okay, the sides of SWAT buses are painted with scenes of bright pink and yellow flowers, neon orange tigers, and snowy mountains. My brother liked it if we got one with F-16 fighter jets, right? So this is a military jet, the F-16,
Yes.
or nuclear missiles. Though my father said if our politicians hadn't spent so much money on building, and we pronounce this atomic, right? The atomic
Yeah.
we might have had enough for schools. All right, fabulous, my friend. Yeah. Again, I know you'll be busy going back to school. But yeah, try to just always read a little English. It seems like you're enjoying this book. And again, it always helps increasing your English vocabulary, right? When you read new words. So I always
Yes.
advise all my students to do that. I did take a time afterwards. I think this is an interesting university. So I'll send you after our session, I'll send you on MIT, which is in Boston, right?
Yeah.
中国人会 Boston, but very famous. And I think you might have a shot at that school too, Eric, if you wanted. But all right, so let's do your essay. Where did I put that? Or your paper. You did a paper, right? So 1-page paper. All right, let's do that. Okay, excellent. Very good, man. That's a wonderful start, right? Again, I know academic writing, it seems like it's always changing. I don't think anyone, unless you take Chinese literature or French literature or English literature, no one really writes, papers anymore because everything's online on the internet. So it becomes, who knows what the future of writing will be, but
Yeah.
it's getting rather bizarre. But anyway, all right. So yeah, standard, that's good, right? Up to the teacher, whatever, however they would like you to head it, right? So that's either underlined or however, whatever it was. What was the title again? I'm sorry. What was the paper topic?
The topic, I choose a question from the second one. It
Okay.
asks us from Malala's educational career or in the past that she helps children into getting better education and they want us to tell the benefits of education.
Yes. Okay. Fabulous. Good. All right. Pashtun, right, is a city. So in Pashtun, a rural district. Okay. It's a district of Pakistan. Malala spent her 15 years of life in Pashtun rural district. Malala. I would just rotate maybe, if that would make more sense. So I would say Malala. Um, you could also, again, right? You always want to write for many reasons. You want to write uh, for people that don't know what the book's about, don't know what you're talking about. That's one reason. And then secondly, especially your freshman year, if you go your first year at university, you're going to be in maybe very large classes that you don't even have an opportunity. They're going to basically be lecture classes, right? Until people say, well, maybe not, university's not for me. Maybe then the classes get smaller as you continue on with your university courses, right? Or you get older. So there's so many students that are going to be in your class that the teacher might not even know, right? Or the student aide that's reading your papers might not even know the topic, right? So you really want to describe who the characters are initially, right? Some way or somehow. So you could say maybe Malala, right? The lead or the lead person of uh or the lead person of her own story or life, right?
Mm.
Spent, that's pretty good. So let's just cut that. So spent her 15 years of life in Pashtun, and then you don't need commas, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so because some less is better, right? When it comes to commas, even though I seems like I continuously write with many commas. I don't know why. So then make that 12 again. So there we go. So Malala, the lead person of her own life, that might be comma, lead person of her own life and the book of the lead person of the book of her own life and her book, right? Maybe you don't need a comma. Spent the first 15 years in, you don't need of, right? That's an extra preposition, in Pashtun,
Yeah.
rural district of Pakistan, or in Pashtun. Good. Generally, again, you want to try to not end it with the preposition, but that seems to read a little bit better. Okay, the area is extremely poor because children don't have access to good education. That's a very good, excellent second sentence, Eric. Very good. So, like for this example, right, you'd want to just state who Malala is, lead the reader to know about her and what the book's about, and then the second, you get to the crux or the meaning in the second sentence, right? So that was excellent. Very good. Shockingly, most girls are forced to stay at home and do burdensome housework. Okay. Again, that's good. You're showing your opinion. Um, shockingly, I agree. I think women and men are should be equal. However, some religions still don't view that, right? And I think maybe
Yeah.
Islam is still a very patriarchal religion, meaning the men generally work, right? In some parts of the world, Muslim men do the working and the women stay at home. So if you say shockingly, you're right, you're off the bat, meaning you're telling the reader that you disagree, right? So if you're
Yeah.
going to continue like using these words, then you need to support as to why you don't think this is right. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like if you say, okay, so shockingly, most girls are forced to stay at home and do burdensome work. So shocking is a big word, right? It's like, oh my God, right? When you're shocked. So I would not
Yeah.
use it. You could use it later, but I wouldn't use it like right off the bat. Okay. So I'm gonna delete that. I'm gonna keep that in mind, but I'm not, maybe we'll use it later, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say the area is extremely poor because children don't have access to good education. Um, Period. Yes, you could start with most. You can start a sentence with most. You could say most Pakistani girls, right? Because it's basically
Yes.
a Pakistani book, right? So most Pakistani girls are forced to stay at home and do burdensome housework. That's good. Again, you're right. It's a slow progress. By you saying burdensome, you're allowing the reader, you're saying that you're gradually disagreeing with, right, the for women just to do the work and not, housework and not the men, right? Okay, so to
Yeah.
help female students receive education, good, Malala decided to speak for them. um how could you phrase this just a little bit better
Um,
without using a comma?
so I think I can change it into Malala decided to help female students receive education.
Yes, fabulous, Eric. Right. You just needed to switch it, right? Excellent. Very good. So just cut. Let's see. Cut and paste. All right. Lala decided to speak for, right, female students. Let's see. All right. Malala decided to speak for female students who, you could say, who didn't, right? Or who did not,
Yes.
didn't receive education. Excellent. Very good. All right. Oops, sorry. We got, all right, 10 more minutes. That's all right. We'll go through this. Good. And then you'll have time to review the worksheet. Perfect. All right. Through tireless efforts, girls who live in that region eventually get learning opportunities. So through tireless efforts, I don't think you need a comma. Let's see what word says here, right? Yes, good. And again, if you elect to go to, there's things called Grammarly online where you can check. There's so many different ways to check your grammar. But if you do elect to study, right, in a native English, wherever, if you decide to study in France, get the French word, right? If you decide to study in a native English, get the word or change it to the English version, right? So then it helps you
Yes.
corrections. Okay, good. Okay, through tireless efforts, girls who live in that region eventually get learning opportunities. And actually, your universities, when you go to whatever university in the world, they'll give you, I think they give you Word for free, right? Because you're a student there. So you don't have to.
Yes.
Okay, so for the girls individually and the region, Malala's actions have brought great benefits. Okay, again, right, very similar to that sentence that we changed. How can you rephrase this to make it sound better?
I think Malala's actions have brought the girls and the region great benefits.
Yes, good, right? Excellent, very good, Eric. Actions have brought girls and the region great, or you can say much benefit, right? Great benefit,
Yes.
great benefit, right? Without the pluralization there. So that was what good, right? Again, it's like, I know you've got so many other subjects to do, but my advice always, if it's fresh in your brain, meaning you have the idea of what you like to write in any language, go ahead and do it and then just put it away, right? Again, put it away. Don't do it. Don't think about it for a day. So if your teacher assigns you a paper, it's due next week, and you're in class, and you're like, wow, I have a great idea. Go ahead and do it. But then don't think about it on, if he assigns it to you or she assigns it to you on Monday, do it, write it, but then don't do it on a Tuesday. Leave it sit, right? And then go back on Wednesday so it's fresh in your brain. Okay. All right. So Malala's actions have brought girls in the region great benefit. Firstly, good. I like how you do that. That's great. Especially in shorter papers, right? You're getting to the point. So firstly, it is education that helps the girls, you can just say girls, right? A generalization. Girls gain basic knowledge. Good. They were able to write Urdu. Excellent. Master fundamental living skills. You can almost do another comma here. And learn
Yeah.
about global political conditions. That's good. Very good. Yes, I don't think we need to change any of that. Good. Education improved their life skills. I was always taught, I don't know what the grammar is nowadays, to put a comma before which things that may have changed. I don't know, but I'm gonna do it.
Yes, our teacher tells us to put one because
Yeah,
there are some differences between two kinds.
yeah, right. And and also but, because but is a hesitation, right? So I said, Eric, I know you're really busy at school, but right, you're hesitating. So I've always thought to put a comma there, but now it seems like I'm reading a lot that they don't put a comma in front of which or but, right? Which is interesting anyway.
Yeah.
All right, education improved their life skills, which let them earn a living and possess a plentiful life. Okay, good. I'm keen on hyphenations, meaning like this. Why do we do this, or why do I do that? Do you know in reading
I
that?
think it's better for people to read because they often mix the three, no, not mix, they often like line the three words together and read quickly.
Yes, fabulous, Eric, right? Very good. So when you hyphenate something, it's just a phrase that we say a little bit more quicker, right? Every language has those phrases. So to earn a living, right? So it puts them in a quicker way of speaking. Excellent, very good. All right. Secondly, taking education allowed them to distinguish what is right and wrong. Fabulous. The girls learned ways to. Did you pay somebody to write this, Eric? This is fabulous. This is probably one of your better papers. Really good. Good job, bro. Good job. All right. The girls learned ways to protect their safety and comprehend the concept of women's rights. Excellent, man. Very good. All right. Thus, for the girls' future, maybe you don't even need a comma. No, I don't think so. Yeah. So thus, that's good. Thus, comma, for the girls' future education laid firm foundations. Good. Thirdly, if the girls acquire manufacturing or other knowledge, yeah, maybe you could throw, right, it's separate. So if the girls acquire manufacturing or other knowledge in the region, lots, yeah, in the almost, this is comma, but there's not much you can do about it, right? So thirdly, by comma, if the girls acquire manufacturing, comma, or other knowledge, comma, in the region, you could almost maybe throw in the region here. So thirdly, in the region, if the girls acquire knowledge or other
Yeah.
knowledge, lots of industries, but it's up to you. That's okay. Lots of industries may appear and develop. Yeah, may appear and develop, yes. And then you could throw in another comma. That's just, you can't avoid it. It's just a comma sentence. And factories spring up. Fabulous. That's a good toi, right? That's a boutoir. That's a good phrase. So what does it mean to spring up? What's another way of saying that?
Spring up, it's to quickly appear and grow higher and higher.
Yes, fabulous. And when you take the IELTS, when you successfully use phrases like this, you'll get a higher score. So that's excellent. Very good use of a phrase there. All right, products made in the factories are so globally good. As a result, the district's economy will boost or did boost more rapidly, right? So that's up to you.
Yeah.
All right, and then the final one. That's excellent. The way you structured it, Eric. Yes, this is one of your best ones for sure. So education is truly important with Malala's efforts. Maybe you don't need a comma. And then again, I'm not a huge fan of starting a sentence with, right? Another preposition, not to start with, right? So you could just say education is truly important, right? So Malala's efforts with, you can include right with education instead of starting it, right? So Malala's efforts with
Yes.
education changed the girls' future. Okay, they not only gained many living skills, comma again, I'm a comma fan, but also learn to use laws to guard themselves. Fabulous. What's more, good to the region's economy. This is a little again, maybe more Chinese English way of saying that. So how could you rephrase this? What's
Uh,
more? It's just change the words a little bit to make it sound better for English readers, right? You could just change it, just switch it up. So what's more, what are you saying with this? They contributed a lot. The girls or the education or
no, I just think it represents the girls, but it's not very clear in the quote.
right. So I could just say, what's more, girls' education. Would you possess it? Yeah, girls' education to the region benefited the region's economy. Right. That's fine. That's good. That's fine. All right. Therefore, education brings benefit or benefited brings advantages, right? You want to use
Yes.
different words, right? Therefore, education brings advantages both individually and socially or society. Yeah, socially or societally. Societally.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, societally. That was excellent though, Eric. Very good. So I'm gonna send this to you. Let's go. You've got this one now? Storms on Saturn?
Yeah, I got this.
All right. So warm up. I don't know what they want. Complete the quiz about extreme weather. Okay. Do you understand? Do you understand this one? Complete the quiz? Oh yeah. So yeah, go ahead and just we have less than a minute. So for this one, Eric, just go ahead, whatever you think. You can even use the internet. Okay, so do 1 through
Okay.
7 of which one.